is it, Sebastian? I'm arranging matches. Well, I thought you... I'd better go.
Okay.
Yes, I think you'd better have. Ooh. And you can't eat popcorn to that. You're going...
What do you think, Reepicheep?
Yes.
You like it? Well, so Eddie Izzard has been cast as Reepicheep, one of the biggest casting announcements in the entire series for sure, being that he's certainly one of the most beloved characters in the series. And on the Narnia web poll, I voted I'm ecstatic. And you agree with me there?
Yep.
I mean, I was hesitant to vote for I'm ecstatic just on what you thought, just because, you know, as of now, I've only known that he was cast for just a few minutes. And, you know, and it's hard to be really excited about something when you don't really know, like, how... I mean, we've just seen a few clips from on YouTube. But I will say, I think his voice... I mean, I'm hoping that he'll do a different accent. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I like to see a different... I'm hoping that he'll do, like, a different accent for Reepicheep. You know, something, you know, more... I don't know. Just... I'm hoping... I'm assuming that he probably won't even use his normal voice, necessarily. He'll probably put on sort of a mousy kind of voice or his own thing. It probably won't just be him talking normal. But it's super exciting, of course, that Reepicheep is going to be cast finally. You agree?
Yes!
Yes, finally! We've been waiting. Like the two things I've been waiting for the most. The trailer and Reepicheep.
And the movie.
And the movie. That'd be the third. So I think he sounds like an awesome choice. Like, I'd said, you know, I think I've said a couple times in these videos that it's very difficult to find that line where he's got to be sort of, you know, tough guy, Reepicheep, sort of a guy who you could possibly be a threat.
But not Mr. T.
But not Mr. T, you know. But he has to be the voice has to be credibly coming from a mouse, so somewhat high at least. I mean, but not like this, you know. I mean, it's got to, otherwise when he's like, "Oh, my owner is my own," you know, then you don't buy, besides just being annoying, you don't really buy him as a character. You know, you just kind of like roll your eyes at it. So he has to be credibly, like, you know, big, you know, Reepicheep, you know, sort of with his sword, but he's still got to so incredibly Reepicheep, but also have a voice that could be coming from a mouse as well. Very difficult to find that line. I think that sums it up pretty well.
Sure, why not?
And I liked the Reepicheep and the focus on the family radio dramas. Did you?
I think he sounded a little too much like a woman, actually.
Well, maybe. But I do think that as far as in a radio drama, it's very important that the sound of their voice just tell you a lot about them as a character, because that's all you're getting. And so they had to make him higher than I would like for the character, just because in a radio drama, you have to make sure to remind people that he's small, he's a mouse. In a movie, you don't have to always be reminding people that he's small and he's a mouse. So they're not tied down by that. And listening to his voices here on YouTube, that's all I've seen him right now is his videos on YouTube, and I think he sounds like a fantastic choice. Just a great balance of what I've been talking about. And I try to picture the voice in kind of a sort of a proud kind of, you know, say that again to my sword, you know, free my paws and give me a sword if you dare. You know, I can see him.
Like Redwall.
Yeah, whatever. That's kind of what Redwall, which are nice. And so that's kind of what I was thinking of, actually.
Convenient.
And but not like Matthias the warrior from Redwall. So I think that awesome choice. I think this is one of. I mean, but like I said, I'm hoping he'll do a different accent. I'm not sure what accent the Narnians will have. Probably just be, I don't know what it'd be. But it's a different accent for Reepicheep, and not necessarily English, but something like that. And I'm hoping he'll kind of not just use his normal voice, but kind of his own spin on it. But this regular voice I'm hearing on YouTube sounds very, very encouraging, and I think this is just one of the best, probably my favorite casting announcement so far. Would you go that far? My favorite new casting announcement in Prince Caspian. Would you go that far? I mean, I guess I shouldn't be saying that because I only heard about this like less than 10 minutes ago. And so I probably shouldn't be saying that yet. But right now, I don't think it's been a long time since I've been this excited about a casting announcement. And maybe it's just the fact that it's Reepicheep, which is like, you know, well, most anticipated casting announcement in, you know.
What about Glum?
Well, I mean, it's certainly one of the most anticipated in the whole series. Glum would be a huge one for me, of course. But as far as like the fan base, Reepicheep is huge. But there is actually a little more news, a few more news stories, both of which are related to Reepicheep. So it's been kind of a Reepicheep few days of news leading up to the release, which is really neat. But some decent pictures of the new toy line, and we're both big toy collectors. as you can see. So I'm
La la.
yeah very happy to get a look at the toys, and they look. What do you think? These guys here.
I'd buy them.
I mean, I think they look okay. I mean, they're not as bad as these guys. These are the Hasbro toys, which both of us hated. You did hate these, right? I didn't like. What do you think of these?
They were okay while they lasted.
All right, I don't like these guys at all. They're just cheapo thingies, like no detail at all.
On the right side, they're detailed.
Yeah, but they don't move hardly at all. They have like no articulation, and they just look cheesy.
They might as well be a model.
Yeah, and but then the Disney Store came out with these guys, and these guys are great. We like these guys. They're awesome. They have really good articulation. They're very detailed. You know, they pretty much look like the actors. I love these guys. And just look at the difference.
I'm still gonna get mirrors if they.
Yes, look at the. I love that shield. Right. How they? So I'm still the Prince Caspian toys. They look better than this, but I'm hoping they'll make toys that are up to this quality. These were Disney Store exclusives, and I was very impressed with these toys. So I'm hoping they'll do that. But the big thing about this thing is that it's I guess it's officially our first look at Reepicheep.
Why does Lucy look Japanese?
Because it's a toy. And
it's actually made in China.
Okay, so it's kind of our first look at Reepicheep, and you can't really. He's very blurry. It's just a speck, basically. But what little we can see seems to imply that he'll look very similar to Reepicheep. We do get a pretty good look at Reepicheep. Reepicheep has, mostly a white front and a brown back. It's not as terrible as what I saw on set of Reepicheep. We're assuming that Reep is going to be very similar to Peep.
What did you see on set?
It was much more white than that. So I'm hoping
Wow, that came close.
Yeah, and it's not... I still think the black looks awesome. This isn't the worst change they could make, especially if they nail the voice. But it just bothers me. It's gonna be a distraction. That's all. I'll probably get over it in time, but I'm always.
Is Glanstorm carrying a whip?
It looks like it has like a metal thing on the end of it, so it's kind of a whip thing. Yeah, I guess. But toys look okay. I hope they make a really nice Miraz toy. But Reepicheep, I still wish they make him black, because I think the black is just so... and Lewis has such a great description of it in the book. And,
there's a picture.
What?
Of Reepicheep in the book.
Yeah. And I think I love that Pauline Baines illustration, or in Voyage of the Dawn Treader, when he's all black. I think it looks awesome. But someone from Ain't It Cool News also got a look at an unfinished Reepicheep and said that the things he was doing was, quote, pretty sweet. Which the first thing that came into my mind was Reepicheep on a surfboard going down Helm's Deep firing off arrows. And I don't mean he's going to do that. I just mean that it's going to be sort of... I'm just afraid he's been doing these over-the-top, backflip, kind of cool action movie moves. And Reepicheep should be like, oh man, that's awesome, but not, too far. I definitely think they're doing that with Susan. And Susan shouldn't be fighting at all, much less fighting like a Legolas,
Don't remind me.
So that worries me. So, overall, Reepicheep, first off, they call him a rat in the report, which is pretty... that's pretty annoying. Dare you. Thanks for the report, though. But, so overall, Reepicheep, I think his voice looks awesome. Sounds awesome, I should say. But the big fur is a distraction. I don't like I hope they don't go too far with the action, so it really worries me. But the voice, at least, if he can get like a cool accent, kind of a cool sound, I think it'll be really, really cool. So, I'm feeling very good about Reepicheep right now, which means I'm feeling pretty good about the film. If they nail Reepicheep, wouldn't you agree? That changes are annoying, but if they nail Reepicheep, hey, that'll be a big one. Wouldn't you agree?
The White Witch.
Well, either way, it'll be a big one if they nail Reepicheep. So, it's a very exciting night for Narnia fans. Reepicheep's been cast. With 154 days to go until the release, and Reepicheep finally announced. Kind of the last major casting announcement for Prince Caspian. So, further up and further in.
Who do they have left?